welcome back to the vlog. We are going to go straight and continue this Governor Charles Chukwuma visit to the Veritas University and his comments. This is part 2 of the series. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I am still Kodili-nye, the son of wonderful. Stay tuned.
The Vice Chancellor, members of council, members of the university. The public purpose mission of your university, my dear friends, is a bold statement of progressive social thought. Combine the Catholic social teachings with Rick Warren's book on, quote, the purpose-driven life, and lest with chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria on the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, and you'll have a robust progressive ideology and manifesto. I pray that these 3 documents can be mandatory readings in one of the general studies courses of your university. If you are students and Nigerians, take them as their compass in pursuit of private and public good. A new Nigeria will indeed be on the way. These documents motivate us to a life driven by purpose above self and remind us that to serve is to live. Selfless public service is the greatest form of philanthropy. I'm in love with pragmatic progressivism, and particularly the chapter 2 of our Constitution, which provides a compass to a competitive and yet humane and compassionate society where no one is left behind. It seeks to establish the social contract between the state and the citizens, although this social contract is adjudged to be non-justiciable. In other words, you couldn't go to court to enforce several of these rights and entitlements and rights specified in chapter 2 of our Constitution. It's my view that making much of these aspirational contents of chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution justiciable will create a new generation of Nigerians who feel a great deal of gratitude and therefore fired by intense sense of nationalism and patriotism to want to give back to society. Increasingly, ladies and gentlemen, I meet many young people who argue that they do not feel any sense of obligation or duty to the country. They do not feel that the country has invested in them to demand patriotism and duty to country. Unlike my own generation, the nation did not offer them qualitative and tuition-free education at all levels. Why, after pulling themselves by their own bootstraps, should they care for Nigeria that has not cared for them? That's the question that I keep getting. And sometimes it is difficult to respond appropriately without bringing God into the conversation. Often my answer is to remind everyone that if God in his infinite wisdom decided to make us Nigerians, there must be a purpose. And that purpose must be for us to contribute to his creation by living the country better than we met it. Oh yes, I must admit that this homily, ennobling as it sounds, is not enough. We must collectively do something to give every Nigerian a stake in the future of the country. I talked about my generation from the 70s in primary school, no tuition, nothing. In the secondary school, we were in boarding school, you only paid your boarding fees. And I remember in my second year, they brought in this double bunk beds. We're all supplied, to our schools. I can see some people here nodding who were in school in those days. They brought the beds, the double bunk, free of charge and so on. in our schools. And when we went to the university, it was free tuition, and you only paid a little thing for the hostel, as it were. And then our meals were subsidized even, that it was 50 kobo per meal then, and we still demonstrated that it wasn't enough. I remember over the weekends when they served, we were protesting that the people that left before us were served a quarter of a chicken during the weekends, and we were now getting 1/8 of it. And when you finish eating, you had some rack somewhere of dessert, bananas, oranges, and so on. You helped yourself, you know, just for the same 50 kobo. That's what we had. And I must tell you, some of us still feel a depth of gratitude. And all my life, part of what we do in public service is to give back to the country. And we must be able to reinvent that past in some ways. My dear friends, Nigeria is undergoing a fundamental and disruptive reset. Hopefully, we have ended the debilitating scam called fuel subsidy, as well as the forex and electricity subsidies. We have entered a modeling through phase, which we must navigate carefully. Soon, we must migrate from the destructive subsidies that benefited largely the urban elite to a productive social contract that creates opportunity for all. Again, take education, for example. I talked about that and being the beneficiaries of that and what we benefited as it were. Even subsidized meals until government could no longer afford it. If there was nothing else that the military regimes used their first and oil bombs for, at least I can attest to their investment in education. And my generation will remain grateful. And for some of us, much of our life, especially in public service, is payback time. So, as we muddle through the shocks occasioned by the needed disruptive changes, we must sit and craft a pragmatic new deal for Nigeria, plus an emergency national infrastructure plan akin to the US Marshall Plan, plus a Marshall Plan for Europe after the Second World War. A new deal for the US was, quote, a series of programs, public works, financial reforms, and regulations enacted by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in the U.S. between 1933 and 1938 to rescue the U.S. from the Great Depression. Some elements of the New Deal, such as the new minimum wage legislation, the draft tax reform bill, the planned cash transfers, and several of the others, as well as the audacious Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and Lagos-Sokoto Highway, are positive signs. But this moment calls for historic coordination between the federal and state governments to agree of the critical elements of the augmented New Deal and Marshall Plan, as well as their implementation to deliver outcomes within the shortest possible time. A key issue will be that national plan for deployment of the apparent fiscal subsidy windfall. I call it the fiscal subsidy windfall. A little windfall as a result of the removal of subsidy. I say apparent, unquote, windfall, because much of the nominal increase in fiscal revenues is largely money illusion. In both US dollar terms and real purchasing power terms, much of the revenue windfall is still far lower than in previous years. For example, a state government that received about $5 billion, or equivalent of about $43.4 million US dollars as monthly from Federation account in 2007-2008, when the exchange rate was 118 naira to the dollar, and the bag of cement sold for a few hundreds of naira, and of course diesel was less than 100 naira. and so on, will have to receive at least 77 billion a month at current exchange rate and prices to be restored to its value as a 2007-2008 position when it had 5 billion. But the state does not get even a third of that now. I just wanted to put this context because there is some sense of some money illusion when you hear billions and trillions. And then when you talk in terms of what can it buy, money is what money can buy. If you have to pay over 10,000 to buy a bag of cement and you still have to do drainage, you have to import your bitumen and all the kinds of things to do stuff. It's not quite that you have any major surplus in real terms, but at least even the nominal surplus, we can have a strategic plan about how we deploy it, because Nigerians are waiting. However minuscule or even non-existent the windfall in real terms, the Federation must be seen to intentionally execute a new deal that pragmatically coheres with our peculiar federalism while urgently addressing the needs of the people. And for me, beside the humongous investment to build infrastructure for the 21st century, we urgently need to prioritize our national investment in human capital to transform our abundant human resources into productive capital. In the 21st and 22nd centuries, driven by digitalization, only societies that intentionally mine their human capital will triumph. Deploying our depleting natural resources to invest in the bridge to the future, that is human capital, will not only give our teeming population a stake in the society, but also secure their future. As a country, we must aim to remember this time in our history as a moment when we had the courage to remove the negative subsidies, but deployed a significant part of it, of the windfall, to benefit our children and youths via their education and health, particularly. At the minimum, we should set a national target to bring down the out-of-school children. I hear in some states, they are even up to 60%, 50%, or thereabout, in some states, out-of-school children. We should have it as a national target to bring this to zero within 5 to 8 years, and qualitative tuition-free secondary education to all Nigerian children within the next 5 to 10 years, while mainstreaming selected centers of excellence for the exportable labor force. We must be able to tell in a few years' time what we have done by transiting from the debilitating negative subsidies and which other subsidies, at least, we will be able to have that investment in our human capital. That is productive subsidy, and that is the kind of subsidy we must all support and invest in, as it were. As pragmatic progressives, because I am now in the terrain, we are pragmatic progressives. I come from the All Progressives Grand Alliance. My national chairman is here. And we take this issue of progressivism very seriously. We are trying the experiment in Anambra. Within our 2.5 years in office, we have kept our eyes on creating this future we desire by focusing intensely on the people as the whole essence of development. Besides the historically unprecedented investment in transport networks, especially to communities or local government that never sought out roads or bridges or flyovers, our aggressive urban regeneration, statewide pipe-borne water revolution, 3 new cities, including an entertainment, leisure, fun city, and industrial city, breaking the 33-year-old jinx of giving Anambra a government house or governor's lodge, or reforming and strengthening public service, massive investment in security law and other etc. We have prioritized human capital development as our beacon to the future. We aim for human capital that is productive at home and exportable abroad. There is an ongoing infrastructure revolution in our public hospitals, building, modernizing, and equipping 326 primary health care centers in all the wards, remodeled and equipped 3 general hospitals, and completing and equipping 5 brand new general hospitals, pioneering telemedicine, building best-in-class trauma center in our tertiary hospital, as well as world-class College of Nursing Sciences, etc. But our health policy today offers free antenatal services with drugs, as well as free delivery, including cesarean surgeries, to pregnant women in all public hospitals in Anambra State. And so far over 60,000 women have benefited, and with near zero mortality. I'm told about 2 main surgeries. One had a quadruplet and one a triplet, and the quadruplet went on for huge surgery, complicated surgery that lasted for some hours. I learned when the woman went in for surgery, the husband ran away and put off his phone wherever he hid himself, and until after some days he couldn't be reached. And when finally the woman had stabilized to be asked to go home, there were trepidations about the bill to come, and they were told they could go home, that Soludo has said that you don't pay anything. I saw a video of the woman crying and the sister crying uncontrollably, and I think after an hour somebody had to fish out the husband and told him that the bill had been paid. He now resurrected back to life. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Okay. I think if the microphone is not working, is it working? You can hear me? Okay. I was trying to switch on to my own natural microphone if that didn't work. On education, beside the massive infrastructure upgrade of primary and secondary schools, with some migrating to smart education, we set out to end the era of schools without teachers by employing, within our first 2 years in office, a total of 8,115 new teachers. We now have free education, free of tuition and all levies in all public primary and secondary schools in Anambra. From your nursery, through primary, through secondary, up to SS3, you don't pay a dime in our public schools. We also subsidize mission primary and secondary schools by posting thousands of government teachers to their schools. And this costs the government over 1.3 billion every month to pay the salaries for these workers that we post to mission schools. We also give grants, not only to our own tertiary institutions, not only fund our tertiary institutions, but also give grants even to some mission tertiary institutions. So, come to think about it, and I want to tell you this. Within the first 9 months, I can say the bishop may be talking to the vice chancellor and saying maybe he could come for his own grant. No, it's not for you. The grant is not for you. When you establish the branch in Anambra, you get a grant. But this is very interesting. By the time we started funding this qualitative, because it's not just that it's free education, it's that it is qualitative. We recruited the 8,115 teachers through competitive national recruitment. We did not ask you what state of origin. These 8,115 teachers come from about 18 states of Nigeria, because the interest of the Anambra child is to be taught by the best teacher in the world, not by the incompetent teacher from his village. That is our priority. Now that public education, the quality, everything is going up, guess what? There's within the first 9 months, enrollment in our public schools went up by about approximately 20%, 18.7% in the first 9 months. I'm sure by now it's much, much higher. And out of school children dropped then to 2.9, and I am told with the latest survey now, it's probably even far, maybe driving closer to 0, as it were. It was 2.9, making Anambra the state with the lowest out-of-school children in the Federation, thanks to this qualitative education that we have. So, as we subsidize, currently, our investment in the youths with our innovative One Youth, Two Skills program, which the federal government has now adapted into a national curricula, has created over 5,000 new entrepreneurs, and with an additional 8,300 undergoing the apprenticeship training scheme. Ours is modeled after our unique apprenticeship system. Our own, skill acquisition is that we take you, if you want to learn tailoring, we'll take you and second you to a tailoring company that is very good, and there you learn and so on. And after that, we teach you business skills. And with the business skills, government gives you a startup capital for you to now go and start off your own. I want to tell you, someone that was trained in one of those upon graduation, and after the seed capital we gave them, bought the machines, tailoring machines and so on. And the first contract she got was to sew uniforms for one of the schools. And now she has, I think, more than almost 10, started sewing, getting contracts. And now is an employer of close to 20 staff now, going through the first one. So we are prioritizing this in terms of now another 8,300 will soon complete, and we will also empower them to become entrepreneurs. Our innovation district, our own Silicon Valley, aims to create a 1 million digital tribe army. And so far, tens of thousands have received digital training, including coding skills, free of charge. Many are already employed in the digital space. We are very, very intentional in this drive to empower the next generation and to take charge of their own lives and move Nigeria forward. In other words, what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that for us it's not just talk, and our experiment in Anambra is showing that this can work. We can give the children, the next generation, sufficient stake in Nigeria. Our goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to break the dynasties of poverty by making education the ladder of opportunity for the poor to break the vicious cycle. When I was growing up, the children of the rich and the poor attended the same school and taught by the same teacher. If the children of the poor were brilliant, they had a chance to do better than the children of the rich. Today, not anymore. The children of the rich now attend expensive and well-resourced private schools, while the children of the poor, especially the poorest of the poor, attend poorly resourced community and public schools. With poor learning outcomes, these children of the poor end up with no skills or opportunities and end up poor, while their own children will even end the same way. So poverty, therefore, becomes a dynasty. Once it comes, it doesn't get out, except they engage in criminality or so. All of us, therefore, must intentionally work to break this vicious cycle. A new national social contract can intentionally eliminate illiteracy and upscale the labor force within a generation. Yes, it is possible. Our experiment in Anambra if we're able to, as we aim to achieve, and I am told we're almost there, to drive out of school children to zero in the next year or so, but I'm yet waiting for the latest survey, and we give them qualitative education, qualitative primary, qualitative secondary, the child is ready to conquer the world, as it were. And I think we should make this a mainstream nationally. And our new graduates, I welcome you that we can be part of this. By 2050, ladies and gentlemen, it's expected that there will be about 400 million Nigerians. And by the end of this century, Nigeria will be the third most populous country in the world after India and China. With an aging Europe, Europe is aging, and North America, Nigeria must opportunistically prepare to become the -- supplier of labor to the rest of the world. Probably by then, export of labor will be Nigeria's largest source of export earnings. So, the Nigerian state, all of us, must deliberately prioritize and invest in the people, especially their health and education. We may have to rethink the current structure and model of education in the country. This is a subject for another day. Your Grace, our Lord Bishop, Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, we must now conclude. The governing elite has a state of emergency in our hands, and we must not fail the country. I am part of that governing elite. After service, globetrotting, professor, there's serving the rest of the world, international agencies, Nigerian federal government, and here in Abuja, in totality in Abuja here, at the federal level, I must have served in more than 25 technical committees, either as chairman or member of one committee or the other. I decided to apply for a job to go to my own state, to go to the grassroots there to serve, that all the theory that we have, that all the grammar that we speak, let's go down and try them out. And we're trying a few of this deliberately, intentionally, and seeing the outcomes. So I am part of that governing elite, and as a governor, of course, you know, in today's Nigeria, it's not fanciful to be a governor. Everything wrong is caused by governors and so on. But we must get it done. We must get our hand dirty to get this. We must not fail this country. Every citizen is called to duty. God did not make a mistake in making us Nigerians. To our young graduates, the Veritas University has imbued you with knowledge, skills, and the social thought to mobilize you for public good. The future you seek, my dear friends, is in your palms, and only those who plan can control that future. As I look into your eyes today, I can see hope. I see a little bit of despair, but I urge you to see the Nigerian glass as half full, not half empty. Yes, Nigeria may not have offered you much, but in fulfillment of your divine purpose on earth, you will be expected to give more than you have received. I therefore urge you all to show up and participate in shaping the destiny of this nation. We are all Nigerians, and this country belongs to all of us. We are all birds of passage, but each of us must account to our Creator what we did while at our pilgrim post here on earth. As I look around, I do not see many of the doyens of Nigeria's first, second, and even third republics. Let no one tell you that you are the leaders of tomorrow. Are you hearing me? Let no one tell you you are the leaders of tomorrow. Listen to this. That tomorrow is here. Take it and shape it so that Nigeria can realize its manifest destiny as the greatest black power and the leader in the 22nd century. My dear friends, may your road be rough, and let us get it done together. God bless Veritas University. God bless all of you. And God bless the Federal Republic.
Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share. I am so Kodili-nye, the son of the wonderful. See you in the next one. God bless you. Bye.